Hello everyone. I hope I am clearly audible to everyone. Can you guys confirm to me that whether my voice is clearly audible or not before we will proceed to our session? And as you must have seen from the heading in the thumbnail, that today's objective is to talk about you know the basic of the merge interval problem, and we will try to solve that. This is one of the most amazing problem which is very frequently asked in a lot of companies. I would say it's an application of greedy approach, right? And till so far in my playlist I haven't covered up this problem, so I thought that why not to cover up this problem in today's live session, so that I also get a chance to interact with you all and to do some chit chat also, right? So, before we will proceed towards this session, I will just request everyone, whosoever is watching my live, can you guys confirm to me that whether my voice is clearly audible or not? Then only, after that we will start. Maybe I'll wait for few minutes so that everyone will join. And then after that, if you have any queries, any questions you want to ask, let's ask that. And meanwhile everyone is joining, those who really want to catch up in the live session. And I'll meanwhile give you the answers. And then after that we will start solving this problem. Whenever you're coming here, to solve the lead code based problems, I used to do live. I think it's the second live which I am doing. Last time also I did, and I got a very good feedback. Students requested me that please try to conduct these kind of interview based coding questions live a lot in your channel. And that's why I thought that why not to conduct the second one. And here I am. So basically, in every live session with respect to the lead code question, we will have a target. And the request is that you must have your pen or notebook with you, and so that you can maybe write it somewhere, right? Whatever insights you will be able to get. And then you should have joined via the laptop, so that you can also write a code with me. See, it's of no sense if you are just listening it out, and if you are just looking into the logic and just looking into the code. It seems very easy when someone is doing the stuffs, but the difficulty comes when we are trying to do the same task. So make sure that whatever things I am doing here, you will try to do it live. And if you're facing any sort of a trouble, try to write it down in the chat window. That's the only reason that I am conducting live. I can also record the video and I can upload it on the YouTube channel. The only reason is why I find this live sessions quite interactive as comparable to those recorded videos. That the only reason is that you can write in the chat window what is your query, what you won't be able to get, so that I can repeat also. And then it is quite amazing, right? And apart from the agenda, we can also discuss other stuffs. Make sense? So if you have any sort of doubt, any sort of queries, anything which you have in your head, you can ask from me. Meanwhile everyone is joining, I'll start with exact after 4 minutes. So it's in 3:18 as of now, so I'm waiting for your questions if you have. Otherwise we will start within few seconds. Okay. So meanwhile, let me share my screen as well. So first of all, thanks for the confirmation that my voice is clear, perfectly fine. Okay, then let me share my screen and give me the confirmation that whether my screen is also visible to everyone or not, right? So now I hope the screen is also visible. Both the screens are visible, right? So someone is saying, what is the meaning of FAANG and MANG? It's one and the same thing. Initially, so these are the names of the companies, big tech companies. So initially the name of the Facebook company was Facebook only. Now it is converted to Meta. The name has changed. That's why the name from FAANG to MANG came into picture. But the naming is same, right? The meaning is same. Okay then, perfectly fine. Let's try to start the process of studying this particular problem, which I hope everyone can see on my screen, talking about the merge intervals, right? Perfect. So here, if you will observe, this question is talking about that if suppose I will give you an array, and that array contains the intervals. Now, what is the meaning of interval? Interval, simple meaning is that you will be having a start time and you will be having an end time. For example, if I will give you a very simple basic example, okay? For example, if I'll say to you that, I will give you uh, one array, and there I am saying that, you will be having a live streaming of this lead code based questions from 6 to maybe 7 or 6 to 8. Then you have a session from 7 to 9, and then you are having a session from, maybe I am saying, 12 to 2 a.m. Now if I'll ask you that, can you tell me that how many number of continuous hours you are sitting? So can you see that, these two sessions are clashing, and this is nothing but is equals to that I will sit from 6 and will sit until the 9 p.m., and the second session will start from, then I'll take a break, and then second session will start from 12 to maybe 2 a.m. So what you are trying to do here is you have merged the two intervals. So what is the meaning of interval? When I'm saying interval, the simple meaning is that I will be having something called as a start time, and I will be having something called as end time. End time. Now the problem statement says that if the two intervals are overlapping, so you have to check that whenever the intervals are overlapping, what you supposed to do is you supposed to merge the intervals. You're supposed to merge the intervals. And if they are non-overlapping, if they are non-overlapping, in that case, you can directly return the result. I hope this part is pretty much clear to everyone. What is the problem statement? Is it clear to everyone? So basically, if you will observe, here we have given the intervals, where the intervals contains the start and the end time. What we're supposed to do is we're supposed to merge all the overlapping intervals, and we need to return an array of the non-overlapping intervals that cover all the intervals of the input. Make sense? So there are few questions which someone is asking. So all the logistics questions I'll talk about at the end of the session. Let's try to first of all focus now completely on the merge intervals problem. Let's try to solve it. Let's try to implement it. Let's try to find out the time and the space complexity. And after that, I'll take all your questions. Right? Okay, Deepak. I hope it makes sense to you. So let's try to focus on the problem statement now. So for example, here if you will observe, we will be having 1, 3, 2, 6, 8, 10, 15, 18. So if you will observe here, what I am saying is we will be having 1, 3. We will be having a list 1, 3, 2, 6. Then we will be having 8, 10 and 15, 18. 15, 18. Now you only tell me that what are the intervals which are merging. First of all, this is 0 index, 1 index, 0 index, 1 index, 0 index, 1 index, 0 index, 1 index, right? And this data structure is something which we call as list of list, right? Because we will be having one big list, and inside that big list I will be having small list. I hope everyone will be able to make a sense. We will be having a big list, and inside that we will be having small list. So it's a list of list data structure. Now in this case, what I'm saying is, who will tell me what are the merged intervals? How will you get to know that, okay, these two intervals are merged intervals? Who will tell me? So someone is saying to me the answer. Salil is saying that, Priya, it's 1, 6, 8, 10, 15, 18. So Salil is saying that the answer is 1, 6, first interval should be there, 8, 10, second interval should be there, and 15, 18, third interval should be there, right? And it's correct, right? What he has done is, these are the two intervals, right? Merged into one. Why is that so? How will you get to know that, this is the interval which we need to merge, and this is the interval which we don't need to merge? Means, how will you get to know that these two intervals are overlapping? These two intervals are overlapping, and how you will get to know that these two intervals are non-overlapping? That's the question. which I really want to ask from everyone. A very basic thing, a very basic thing, but just think it. Just let me know. What I'm saying is, how will I get to know that these two intervals are overlapping? What is the generalization? What is the general formula which I can imply here to say that these two intervals are overlapping? And what is the general form which I can imply here to say that these two intervals are non-overlapping? So Vikas is saying that what he has observed from this pattern is that the current end is greater than the next start. Or in other words, if suppose I will be having this as a current interval, if suppose I am looking into this current interval, so maybe initially the result is I am inputting as 1,3. Now I am scanning from second interval. Suppose it is 0 index, this is 1 index, this is 2 index, this is 3 index. Okay. So what I am saying is, maybe first interval I will store it somewhere. And I am starting from the first index, means second interval. And what I am saying is, if the current interval start time, if the current interval start time, if it is less than the last interval end time, if it is less than the last interval end time, so can you say that this is something which is a condition of overlapping, or maybe equal to also? Maybe equal to also. If suppose 1, 3, 3, 6 is there, then also it will be overlapping. So what I am saying is, if the current interval start time is 2, if it is less than equal to the last end time, which is 3, then this is a condition which is equals to overlapping condition. Can I say everyone? Will everyone agrees with me on this point? Will everyone agrees with me on this point? Is it correct? Making sense to everyone? Current interval equal to also merge, right? For example, if suppose we will be having 1, 3, and then we will be having 3, 6, then we will be having 8, 10, and then we will be having 15, 18, then also the first two intervals are merging, right? Then also you will see the output as 1, 6, right? So what I'm saying is, if my start is less than or equal to the last end, then it will be a overlapping condition. If that is not true, in that case, it's a non-overlapping condition. We can simply append it in my list, right? For example, if the condition is reversed, means for example, I am pointing to this interval. I am pointing to this interval. So in this interval, what is the start value? 15. What is the start value? 15, which is bigger than the last interval end value, which is 10. So non-overlapping condition will be the start should be bigger than the last end. So if that is happening, it simply indicates that there is no overlapping in the intervals. There is no overlapping in the intervals. Will everyone agrees with me? If I will just reverse this condition, it means that there is no overlapping in the list that we have. Is everyone agrees with me? Now, if suppose here by default, if you will observe, we will be having a sorted list in the form of a starting array. But if suppose I will be having 1, 3, then I will be having maybe 8, 10. Then I will be having 2, 6. Then I will be having maybe 15, 18. Then also what will be your answer? Your answer will be same, right? You will say that it will be 1, 6, then 8, 10, then 15, 18. So basically, why not to basically first of all sort the list, sort the above list in increasing order, right? On the basis of the start time, So if suppose, because it is not mentioned in the question, if you will observe this question, it is not mentioned in the question that that we will always give you a sorted type of a list of lists. It can be unsorted. So why not to first of all sort it on the basis of an increasing fashion, on the basis of a start value, right? 1, 2, 8 and 10, 8 and 15, and after that we will try to do the comparison and we'll try to find out what is the overlapping constraint, what is the non-overlapping constraint. Is the logical understanding is clear to everyone? If there is any doubt, please ask from me. In terms of logical perspective, I am saying, then only we will try to move ahead and we'll try to do the implementation of the same. Is there Any doubt? Anyone? So basically, what we have observed, the algorithm looks like, what I will do is, first of all, I will try to sort the intervals on the basis of start time. After that, the second step is we will try to find the overlapping intervals, and we will merge them. Now the question is that we have seen that how we will be able to find out the overlapping intervals. The next question is how we can merge them. For example, you have merged 1 comma 3 and 2 comma 6. The question is how you have merged. So what I'm saying is, if suppose you will be having 1 comma 3 and 2 comma 6, you are saying that the merge interval will be 1 comma 6. How will you able to get this answer? What code should you write to get this answer? Anyone who can answer me? Basically, the start time will be always be the minimum. So basically, you will take the last and start time. It will remain same. You have to figure out what is the end time. And end time will be the maximum of the last end value, which is 3, and the current interval end value, which is at 1 index, right? Means out of 3 comma 6, whichever is having a maximum value, you will return that. For example, if I will be having an interval like, maybe 2 comma 7, and the second interval is like, or maybe 1 comma 7, and the second interval is like 2 comma 4. What is the answer? What is the answer of this merge interval? Can anyone tell me? First of all, is this overlapping or not? This is the first question you have to ask. If yes, what is the merged interval? Who will tell me? So the first interval start time is 1, end is 7. Second interval start time is 1, 2, and ending is 4. Answer will be 1 comma 7, right? As already said by Salil and Vikas. So it will be 1 comma 7. Now what I'm saying is, how will we be able to get 1 comma 7? It is nothing but is equals to 1 will remain same. That is not an issue. We have to just check what is the maxima of the last interval end value, comma, the current interval end value, which is at interval 1. And 7 comma 4, maximum is 7. So this is what we will be able to get here. Is it clear to everyone? Shall we write the code now? So if we will be able to find the overlapping intervals, we are merging them with this procedure. If the third step is, whatever be the no overlapping values are there, whatever be the no overlapping cases or intervals are there, that we will be again figure out with the help of the condition. What we can do, we can directly append it to the result. We will try to append those intervals to the result. Is it clear to everyone? Simple. So this is the complete, I would say, pseudocode or the logic behind, or you can say logic behind the merge interval question. Is it clear to everyone? Shall we start writing the code now, if it is clear to everyone? Shall we start writing the code now? After that, we will talk about the time and the space complexity part. These 3 steps we will do. I'll take the questions, Abhishek, maybe after this completion of this particular question, okay? I'll take the questions at the end of the session, for sure. So please stay tuned, and I'll take, maybe after 10 minutes, I'll take the questions of whatever questions you guys were asking. So let's start the coding part then. If the logic is clear to everyone, let's start the logic part now. Okay, perfect. So here, what is the first step we're supposed to do? What is the first step? The first step is to sort the list on the basis of start time in the interval. That is what we have understood. So how we can do that? We can directly call, what is the list of intervals, right? We can call the function sort, and inside that, what we can do is we can pass a lambda expression that p is equals to lambda, which is a function where I am saying that what we're supposed to sort here on the basis of the first index, which is available at 0th value. So what I can do, I is nothing but is equals to I0. Make sense? With this single line of code, what I have done here is I have tried to sort my interval on the basis of the start time, because I know that the start time will be available at the 0th index. It will not be available at the first index. You all know, right? This is 0, this is 1. So when I'm saying 0 index, it means I'm referring to the start. And when I'm saying 1 index, it means I'm referring to the end. Is it clear to everyone? Sorting is done. Now what I can do is I can take one list which will try to store the values. So initially in this result, I'm trying to store the value of interval 0. Intervals 0. So what it will store is, it will store list of list, because this is what the return type is. And I am storing initially 1, 3 inside the result. I am storing initially 1, 3 inside the result. Okay. Now what I will do, I'll traverse from the next interval, which is 2, 6. So what I will do is I'll say for start and the end value that we will be able to get from the intervals in the intervals list of lists that we have, from which index I want to start. From which index I want to start. I want to start from first index and will go until the last values that we have. Done? Now, what is the last end value? What is the last end value? Who will tell me? How will I able to get the last end value? Means in the result, I will be having 1, 3. I want the answer of 3, which is the last end, because current interval is 2, 6. So what I want is, I want this 3 to be stored inside in this last end. So what I can do is, I'll say go inside the result. -1 means it will go to the last list and take the first index from there, because 3 is present at the first index. So in this way, we will be able to get the last end. Now, what is the condition of overlapping? What is the condition of overlapping? Who will tell me? The condition of overlapping will be if, what is the condition? My start value of this interval, which is 2 here, is either less than or equal to the value of the last end. So what I will do? I'll just try to update the value of result of -1, 1, which is the last end value, with what? With the maximum of what value? What is the value present at the last end, comma, what is the value present at the end, current interval end. Is this part is clear to everyone? Is this part is clear to everyone? What I have done here? Is this part is clear to everyone? So what I'm saying is, I'm comparing this 3 and 2. And because my 2 is less than 3, what I'm saying is, update this 3 with what? With the maximum value of 3, 6, which is 6. So my result of -1, 1 will contain the value as 1, 6 now. Is this clear to everyone? Is this fine? Now, obviously, this is the condition of overlapping. In else case, what we can do? Else meaning that there is no overlapping. And if there is no overlapping, what we're supposed to do? We can directly append the result. So we can say directly append what? Append what is the start, comma, what is the end. For example, in this case, when I'm talking about 8, 10 and 15, 18, and suppose I'm at 15, 18. Now, in this case, my start value, which is 15, is not less than the 10. So what it will do is, it will directly append the value of 15, 18 in the result. That's it. That's it. Now, what we can do is, once we will out of this for loop, we can directly return the result. We can directly return the result. So if I just run this, it is accepting the test cases, right? Let's try to submit this. So submission is also happened. So basically, this is the simple funda of doing a merge interval, where you have to understand that, what is the condition of overlapping and what is the condition of non-overlapping. Nothing bigger, but it's a medium level problem, and you can see that it is usually asked in a lot of companies like Amazon, Google, LinkedIn, Apple, Adobe, Uber, and so on. Right? You can see if you have experience of 6 months to 1 year, Facebook majorly have asked quite frequently this problem, and so on. So basically, this problem is very frequently asked in a very lot of product based companies. Now, if someone will ask you by understanding this logic that why we need to store result, because by default we're assuming that this interval is not merging. See, if suppose I will be having only single interval, if suppose I will be having only single interval, which is 1 comma 3, so that is fine, right? That is not a merged interval. Our process of finding out the merged interval, Shivendra, so he asked the question, let me just show on the screen. He said that if suppose why we are storing this interval of 0 in the result, the simple answer is that initially when I will be having only single interval, there is no overlapping, right? The overlapping will start when you will be having a first index procedure, right? So you have to compare that first interval with the previous one. Make sense? So that's why what we have done is we have stored the starting interval inside the result, and from the next interval and onwards we are trying to compare it with the previous interval end value. That's the only reason why we have stored it inside the result variable interval of 0. Okay. Now the next question is, what is the time complexity of this approach? So here, if you will observe, the very first thing is we are doing a sorting part. Even though we are directly calling a predefined functions, but by default internally what will happen is it will call the merge sort maybe, which is having a time complexity of n log n. And log n, again, this is where we're applying one simple for loop, which will traverse the complete list. So again, it will be something which is equals to, it's a complete traversal of a list, traversal of the list that we have. So it will be something which is equals to big O of n. So when I'm saying n log n plus n, so overall time complexity will become what? So overall time complexity will become, I hope everyone will agrees with me. Can anyone tell me what is the overall time complexity of this approach? What is the overall time complexity of this approach, and what is the overall space complexity of this approach? Space complexity of this approach. So Shivendra is saying it will be n log n, which is correct, right? N log n plus n is something is equals to n log n. Those who are not able to understand that how I will be able to get that, please try to watch my playlist of DSA using Python, where I have explained the complete complexity classes, whatever we have, then you will be easily able to get that. Okay, what is the space complexity? Assuming that by default it is taking a merge sort, you all know that it is an outplace based sorting algorithm, which can take a log n to n space. So maybe it will be big O of n in the worst case. So it will be big O of n, and the time is big O of n log n. It is very, very important whenever you're going for an interview, right? Just have to talk about the time and the space complexity of this approach as well. Very, very important perspective, right? So this is the overall idea behind solving this problem. Now I'm opening to the questions. If you have whatever questions you want to ask with respect to this problem, or any other trouble which you have for which you want to ask, we can. I am open for the live Q&A, right? So, in between, someone asked me, so Abhishek asked me how much DSA is required for data scientists. See, whatever things I am covering up in my YouTube channel, that is something is required. I'm not covering up, very advanced things, which I will say that, it is not required for data scientist person. It is required, right? Whether I'm talking about my playlist of DSA using Python. So let me show you what I'm talking about here. So basically, let me just open it up and then I'll show you. So here, what I'm saying is, whatever topics I have covered up here in my channel with respect to, if I'll go to the playlist, if you will go here, but yeah, after this covering up, nothing more is required. That is what I can say. There is no, as such, very huge need of segment trees, trie-based data structures, but this is something which is required. So just wait for a moment. It got hanged up. So basically, in a way, you should know about tree-based data structures. You should know about graphs. You should know about basics of DP, right? So this is the playlist which I'm talking about. This is something which is actually required for all the people who are into this data science domain, right? These are the basic things without which you will face a lot of trouble. Because if you're going for the companies, The very first initial rounds will be of DSA, and without having the knowledge of DSA, you will not able to crack any big product based companies. That's the simple thing which I'm talking about here. Apart from this, this FAANG DSA interview series is a complete playlist where I have talked about the questions asked in a companies. So this is the questions which are asked personally to me when I was giving the interviews in my masters. So I have almost covered up all the questions. And let me tell you, I am from data science background only. I am from AI background only. So you will also get to know that, okay, what are the level of problems which as a data scientist people usually ask. So please try to see this playlist. You will be able to get a lot of insights from here. Okay, I hope this answers your question, Abhishek. DSA will come into picture whenever you want to do the optimization. This is the same thing I have talked about a lot many number of times, but I used to get the same question again and again. Even I think I have created one video also with respect to that how much DSA is required for data science people, right? uh, More question in this pattern what will be. So there is one problem. I really want to talk about that problem also, but not in today's session. There is one problem by the name of task scheduler. So if I'll go back, so at your home please try this problem. Okay, so there is one problem. Apart from this, there are applications like job scheduling. There are applications like I would say fractional knapsack. All these are the applications of greedy approach. So there is a problem of task scheduling. You can try at your home. It is not searching it. Like, let's wait for some time. But as I told you that there is one problem in the Leetcode. Yeah, this is the problem I'm talking about. This is similar to this problem only. So this is the today's assignment for you all. For those who have watched my videos, just try this problem at your home. Okay, task scheduler problem is there where you will be having multiple tasks given to you, and there is something called as cool down period, which is equals to 2 here. So you have to talk about what is the least number of unit of times required by the CPU, which will be by which your CPU will be able to finish all the tasks. Again, a very amazing problem. Try to do this problem at your home. Okay, this is the today's I would say assignment for this particular session. So for those who have watched it very carefully, they will be able, just think over it, right? Just think over it. Just give a thought over it and try to solve it. I have shared this in the chat window as well. You can just check it out, and even I'll share in the comment section also. Any other doubt anyone is having? Anyone is having any other doubt? I think someone asked me in the initial part. Deepak asked me that which language is best for DSA, Python or C++. See, whenever I'm talking about DSA specifically, C++ or Java is the good language because its execution time is much easily and faster as comparable to the Python programming language. Python is slow, but if your target is to go for the data science or data domain, Python is quite booming because it has having a lot of packages. So when you're going for any company, no one will force you that you have to write the code in the Java programming language or C++ programming language. So if your target is to crack some job, language is not a barrier. If you are good in the logic, if you are having a good understanding of the fundamentals of DSA, they will not even ask you that which programming language you want to implement. Let me share my experience of giving the interview in the Google based company. So in the Google, the interviewer asked me that, oh, they give me the link of the Google Doc, and there only they have asked me to write the logic, and they didn't even ask me that you have to write a complete end to end code. Simple logic, and they just talked about the time and the space complexity aspect. So basically the focus is always on the understanding part of a good companies. So what I really want to say is that language is not a barrier. Whatever language you want to choose, you can clearly choose. Yes, if your focus is on the competitive programming part, that you want to have a very good code chef rank or that part, then you can go for Java or C++. But anyhow, if your focus is on the cracking the company's part, then it's good to have any programming language. If suppose you want to go for web development, you can go for JavaScript as well. If you want to go for data science domain, you can go for Python as well. If you want to go for Android development, you can go for Java as well, and so on. I hope it answers your question, Deepak, right? Any other question anyone is having apart from this? Okay, so if there is no question, let's end the today's session with this particular note. I am planning few more things on this channel. Like I'll try to launch one more SQL playlist. Do let me know in the comment section how many of you are interested in learning the structured query languages, which is again a very vastly asked interview based questions in that playlist, right? But I'm planning to do it live only, where I will go and talk about the lead code based questions only, right? I hope everyone knows that in lead code we can solve the SQL as well. So there is the option of in the problems. If I'll just show you, there is an option of something called as database here, right? So if you will go in this particular database, there are so many structured SQL based queries you will be able to get, which are very frequently asked in interviews. So I am planning to launch this kind of a playlist as well in a live mode. So if you are really interested, do let me know in the comment section. I will be waiting for your comments, and accordingly I'll decide that whether we should move on towards that step also or not. And update of machine learning playlist will also come very soon. A new algorithm called as decision tree, I will upload very soon that playlist video as well. But how many of you are interested in learning SQL, maybe continuously 7 days live stream, and where we will directly solve the lead code based questions of SQL, which are very frequently asked in interviews? How many of you are interested? Do let me know in the comment section. Okay, any other doubts anyone is having? No doubts? Okay, then with this, please like the video. Please do share this video with everyone. It's very disheartening, whenever I used to see the stats of my channel, almost 60% of the audience, 60% of the audience, I'm saying, used to watch the videos, but they're not subscribing to my channel. Please make it quite big achievement for me as well, because the more you share, it will be reachable to more people. Many of you are on the LinkedIn, not even as of now, aware about the my channel part. And I have uploaded almost 150 plus videos, I believe. I'm not sure, but it's approximately 150 as far as I remember. So it sometimes feel demotivated to me as well. But I really want everyone to make their efforts, and please try to share it as much as you can. That's my humble request, because it really means a lot to me, right? With this, bye bye everyone. Happy learning to all, and I'll see you all very soon with new amazing contents, right?